Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who are looking to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads or begging for any referrals. And let me be brutally honest for a second. Most agency owners aren't building a team, they're babysitting one. So they spend their days chasing flaky prospects, repeating the same recruiting pitch like a parrot 5 times a week, only to have no-shows, ghosters, and broke dreamers drain their time and energy. And worst of all, their personal production suffers, and they start resenting the team that they tried so hard to build. If that's you, you're not lazy, you're just trying to scale using effort instead of systems. That's why I built Autopilot Recruiter, a done-for-you system that helps you attract qualified agents, pre-sell them with your story, get them onboarded without doing another live Zoom, sales pitch, or three-way call ever again. It's the same system top recruiters are using to grow massive downlines without sacrificing their commissions, their time, or more importantly, their sanity. So if you're ready to build a team that actually grows itself, go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook and download the free playbook today. Today's guest is Colleen Tatum. She transitioned from running a multi-million with an M dollar auto business to finance after realizing a wildfire destroyed her town. And she decided today it was time to help others while also reclaiming her life from hustle culture she had kind of fallen into with her automotive business. So, Colleen, welcome to the show, my friend. Tell me something you believe is the key to succeeding in insurance sales that most agents completely overlook.
Honestly, it's the same key that you would have in any business. You have to decide that this is it. You have to decide, if not this, then what? And you have to go all in. You have to do the reps, you have to do the work, and you have to never stop being committed to doing that.
I forget where I've heard those two quotes from. If not this, then what? If not now, then when? Right? It's fantastic frames of mind. So dive more into that. Why are more people? It's probably no different than how they treat their relationships. I'm a firm believer how you
Mhm.
do one thing is how you do everything. Your actions communicate louder than your words do. They define you. Um,
True.
I think these are the same people who are 1 foot in, 1 foot out of their relationships, 1 foot in, 1 foot out of their parenting. Mom, can you come get the kids? They're annoying. Give them the iPad. It's like, why did you have them? If that's the case, so dive more into that. Why do you think that is, Colleen?
Hey Mason, I think we're going to touch on some red flags today. I mean, this is the truth. I literally just had this conversation with someone. I've been married with my husband for like 28 years, and it's a choice that you wake up to every single day. That doesn't mean you love it every single day, but you do it anyways. And so most business owners do not succeed in any business, and most marriages don't succeed. And it's really, I think, that mindset of saying, obviously there's things that you don't want to put up with. You're always striving to be better. You're always striving to fix what needs to be fixed. But at the same time, you just have to be committed. You have to make a decision that this is going to provide your family the lifestyle that you want, that you're committed to the mission that we do in life insurance, and that no matter what, you're going to continue to move forward to make it better and make it work for yourself.
Yeah, it's so funny. If you try to have everything, you'll have nothing, my dear friend. When you talk to everyone, no one listens. If you think your product is for everyone, it's a product for no one. And so what's funny about that, you just mentioned your marriage. So congrats on staying that consistent. It's not something you see because we live in a world that tells its younger like generation, people who are just now stepping into adulthood and womanhood, and they're saying, go chase that bag. Go know your worth, queen. Don't put up with anything. And they end up with a guy who just steamrolls them, or he doesn't even have a car. You end up with a loser. It's so funny. So the fact that you're mentioning it's an everyday choice, and like it doesn't always feel lovely, but love is a choice. You choose to love your husband consistently more than you choose to not, and it's not a binary thing. So that's so cool. I'm so happy for you guys because that's such a rare gem to see. I'm freshly newlywed, so uh, it's exciting. So I'm
Congratulations,
extremely well. Thank you very
congratulations.
much. I'm sure my companions in there smiling from ear to ear is like my husband. So it's funny. She'll watch this and laugh, and she'll think you're awesome. So I know you wanted to, something I know you're really passionate about, Colleen, is this whole idea of like Tony Robbins says something I'm sure you'll resonate with. Let me know if you do. We're always building two businesses, the one we're in and the one we're becoming. So I know something that you were mentioning to me is like EBITDA, future scale, future sellability. And even if you don't want to sell your business, you should build it to be sellable because profit is the name of the game, my dear friend. I know so many people. Mason, I wrote $1 million in premium. That's cool. It cost you $1 million to do it. You walked away empty-handed. So talk to us about that and kind of your story on what made you want to build a sellable business. I think it's beautiful.
We had built for about 20 years an automotive business. In the automotive space, we were quite large, multi-million dollars a year of sales, over $6 million a year of sales. And, that doesn't often happen in the automotive space. But what we found was when we were kind of realizing that maybe this wasn't the lifestyle that we wanted, meaning we were working every single day, we could never take a vacation, even with systems and procedures. We had like this baby that we had to take care of that we couldn't get a babysitter for. And what happened was a wildfire took over our town. We had to evacuate in a matter of hours, and we weren't even allowed in the area for 6 months. And it was just so many realizations. But even during that period, if you look at your business and think that you want to sell it, someone has to be able to buy it. And if you can't sell it, or you can't pass it on, or you can't make a legacy out of it, you're not building a business, you're building a job. And so I think a lot of times in insurance, we're sold this idea of high income, which is great. Income is wonderful. But if we're going to say to people that we're building a business, that should be something, number one, that your contract states that you own. And that should be something that you can sell to anyone, because if you can only sell it back to your IMO or to certain qualified people, you don't own it, they do. That's going to affect its value. And if you truly are building a business, it should have a ability to move on after you've died, retired, become disabled, whatever that looks like for you. We all will come to that moment in time. And if you've actually built a business, there should be a transition period, a transition plan that's able to be executed.
It's so funny because I've now generated over about 4,500 insurance customers who have bought various products from me. And something I find it's just a repeating theme. It's their idea of a business is I buy leads, I call them, and that's it. It's like if that's what you're passing down to your kids, I feel sorry for the children because they might as well sell themselves a policy and start planning for their funeral because that's
This is the
that's
truth.
not a system, my dear friend. That is
A
instead
nightmare.
of me saying the five-letter word that starts with S and ends with lave, I'll just say it's the people who work for free. And that's essentially what you're handing down, and no one wants that.
It's so true. In my business, in my automotive business, my mom said to me once, "Oh my goodness, are you going to give this to your kids?" And I said, "My goodness, I don't want them to do this. This isn't the life that I want for them." And that's when I knew that we had to make a change. And exactly that in insurance. If you are just running this treadmill where you have to make 100 calls a day, 200 calls a day, great. You can make short-term income. That might be better than the 9 to 5 that you had, obviously. But if you don't want your kids to do it, that's probably a big indication of what your business is worth and what that is really generating in terms of quality of life for your family.
Yeah, I tell you guys who are chasing that income, it's shiny new object syndrome if you replace your 9 to 5, come over here and do the same amount of money or anything. But if you do not have a process to where, like Colleen's saying, if you can't hand down the business to your kids and it still get customers and lead generation without you, it's just not worth handing to anybody because and let's just be real, Colleen, some businesses they just have shit and sometimes shit just stays shitty and that's just part of it. Some shit stays messed up and broken and it never gets fixed. So what made you really want to like, I know you were telling me the story about your children and stuff like that, and I think it'd be fantastic for the audience to hear on what made you really go down this rabbit hole, so to speak, and why you wanted to leave something behind for them.
Yeah. Well, when that wildfire happened and we were suddenly faced with no income, we had over $200,000 a month of fixed expenses that did not go away, even though we couldn't run our business. So that was real fun. And remember, we couldn't re-enter our business for 6 months to even really start rebuilding. So you can do the math of how quickly you can lose everything that you've built. But beyond that, what kind of happened during that time period is my son really started experiencing a lot of anxiety, a lot of different things coming up. We thought it was trauma from the fire. Come to find out, he actually has autism. And so it really became important for me to be able to create something that would take care of him for the rest of his life. I've got a plan for my own retirement, but oftentimes when you're taking care of people in your family that are disabled, you also have to plan for theirs. And so insurance, finance was something that I could turn to that had high income, that would give me more freedom of time if done right, had residuals, and that in the IMO that I'm with, we actually have a legacy plan so that we have a clear, defined way to transition that over to our family. We can sell it, of course, to anyone that we want because we truly own it. But if and when I retire, pass away, my kids can actually still be benefiting income wise from the business that I've built. And with kids in general, I think that's something that a lot of parents would love to be able to do. But especially add in if you're a parent of disabled kids, there will be a time when you're not there to take care of them anymore. And what is that going to look like for them is something that you really worry about on a daily basis.
Yeah, I'm obviously planning to have kids within the next 24 months, and something I'm not going to be sending my kids to the public indoctrination camps. I'm so sorry I said that out loud. The schools, and I don't want them to be programmed to memorize teacher, memorize textbook, repeat it, and get labeled with a grade. I think that's stupid. If you look where rich people take their kids, they were taught logic, communication, uh, setting boundaries, habits, and so if you are able to build a business somewhere and just leave your kids where you left off rather than trying to figure it out on their own, I don't know a better way to accelerate their life. Except the problem with most parents and children today is they all want to ask for money, but never the skills to manage it. And I think if you're a parent, what better way to train, like teach them habits? Screw the memorization. Doesn't Christopher Columbus, what has that ever done you any good, Colleen? Knowing about Christopher Columbus?
Not a lot.
Oh, it waste of
Conversations around
time.
the conversations around the table, we're always constantly having conversations. We have a business family. So my husband, his family's all in business. We've been in business all this time. Our conversations are really different. We're always talking about what is the ROI? What does this look like? What does that look like? We're having those business conversations around our children. And so those thoughts that they're having, the questions that they're asking are going to be so different than someone else exactly that goes into the school system. The school system, I mean, we could go off on that, right? But is really built to build factory workers, and it's not working. When we look at bullying, when we look at all these things that are happening, why do we keep doing something that's so broken? But yet we know that unfortunately parents need school a lot of times to babysit their kids because they're at a job, they're at a 9 to 5. So this was something that I could immediately do from home. I do it remotely. I could do it from wherever. We can do it while we're traveling. And so it immediately changed the quality of our life and enabled us actually to bring our son home from school.
That's really beautiful. Colleen, if there was one system an agent would need to build, like what should the priority be in what type of system for an insurance agent? Should it be generating a marketing system, a sales system, like an actual sales process? Reading from your precious script is not a sales process, okay? It's how do you take an unaware customer who has no clue their ass is on fire and get them to realize their ass is on fire, then make them aware there's a solution to their ass being on fire, and that solution being your garden hose, and then they give you money to hook it up and spray their ass off so they're no longer on fire. It's what's the most important system for a business, Colleen?
Mason, honestly, I think any business, this is the hard part when people want to build teams in insurance, is because it's harder to duplicate. But I feel like learning how to ask good questions is going to be the key between you being able to serve that client well, being able to have a high persistency rate because you're actually going to be selling something that they want and need, and being able to really uncover more money on the table. If I'm following a script, that's great. You got to start somewhere, but you've got to actually know the psychology or the reasons why we're asking what that we're asking? Why are we saying it the way we're saying it? How can we actually figure out what that person wants and needs? And then how can we really be able to come in with a solution that truly fills that need? A lot of people say to me, what do you focus on? And they're meaning like what product? And I'm like, I focus on helping people.
Sales.
Right?
Sales.
Like, what do they need? I'm not there to go in and say you need an IUL because that's not true for most people. I need you to have a conversation with me, and that takes more work and skill to learn how to do that. And so I think the most important thing is for people to be working on that, whether they're working with their coach in their business, but even outside of it. You've got to be able to go outside of that team that you're in and put the work in to learn how to actually connect with people on a deeper level.
Yeah, I'll never forget the day. It's like, Mason, I've been on 40 appointments this week and no one's bought. I said, send me a transcript. I was like, there's no way you talked to
Yeah.
40 people and not a single one of them bought. He went to every single person. Okay, we've got this company and here's just straight to the product. Do you want to
Yeah,
like do you want to sign it? It's like, oh no, who is teaching this? So
this is the
it's so
problem.
funny. Guys, just ask questions. Just treat it like a 7-year-old curious at Walmart. Like, can I have
Yeah.
this, mom? And when she tells you no, you go, why not? My mom would smack my hand every time. Why? Because I said, well, that's a stupid reason, mom. Why? And then I popped in the mouth. So that's funny. Just go ask people why or what do you mean by that? It's so simple.
Right?
Uh, this has been really valuable, Colleen, for the agents and agency owners listening who want to learn more about what you do. Tell us who's a good fit to work with you and how they can get in touch.
Yeah, I love working with people that maybe had a business of some sort before. Maybe they were living that nightmare that I was. They're thinking, hey, I want to still have control of my time. I still want to have high income. I want that flexibility. So they've got that mindset already where they're going to come in and see the value of what we do and put the effort into it. I love people that are optimistic, determined. They've got that high emotional intelligence. I don't really so much care what you did before. If you were a teacher, a plumber, a truck driver, that doesn't matter. But what I know is important is that self-determination that you said to yourself, enough is enough. I am going to build this for my family and I'm going to do what it takes. Someone like that, we can run with you, we can help elevate what you're doing, and we could put you in the best position to really have that happen. And that is the type of person in any business that is going to succeed. But I think in financial services specifically, there's not much else that I have found that gives you truly, if you're in the right environment, that can give you the quality of life that we have.
Yeah, I found this in this industry. If you're a people pleaser, you can make so much damn money here. It's unreal if you can just deal with being told no. Because, man, you will care so much about the cut. If you're a people pleaser, man, there's so much opportunity here. So we're going to wrap up here. Thank you so much to Colleen. You guys comment down below. Say thank you, Colleen Tatum, for sharing her insights on what it was like to run the automotive business after wildfire and all these crazy stories and how to build a sellable business. For those of you interested in learning more, for those of you who are saying enough is enough, for those of you who are determined, optimistic, and maybe like me, an inverse paranoid, and you think the whole world's out to help you, you guys, I'm going to post her link down below. You can message her, go join her agency, go do an interview, whatever you want. If that's the boat you want to be in, I highly encourage it for the right people. And if you'd like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful agents and agency owners doing at least 10K a month in commissions and have unique strategies and stories to share. You can apply at the link below in the description. And one more time, if you want to stop getting people on your team that never sell anything, and drain your time, and you want to recruit the right people the first time on autopilot and fill your agency with rock stars who, let's just be real, winners are going to win. Go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook. Until next time, keep building that commission machine, my friends. Colleen, great job.